Welcome to the Third Wheel Podcast, where you're the third wheel in our conversation. Unfortunately, Caleb couldn't make it today, but that's okay because I brought my friends for backup. We have over here on my left, Jose Rodriguez. And over on his left, we got Tyler Payne, the one and only.
Absolutely. Legendary.
Yeah, legendary sass indeed. Now, you may not know who these people are, but just know that they are very good friends of mine. I've known them for a little bit. They have some interesting things to say about some interesting topics. So let's go ahead and get in. Now, Tyler, you were telling me about an hour ago that you had a very good ghost story to tell. But before we get into that, I just wanted to make a note that as of today, when we're recording, it is actually Friday the 13th in October. I didn't even realize that until like a few moments ago. So I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to tell some ghost stories. So Tyler, why don't you lead us into that?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Walking down the hall.
Okay. I'm already roped in. Let's go.
You hear doom, doom. I am the ghost of the bloody finger. Coming around the corner, you hear it getting closer and closer. I am the ghost of the bloody finger. Next down the stairs. Suddenly around the corner, I am the ghost of the bloody finger. Ah! Could I have a Band-Aid?
What?
You said this was for a 10-year-old. That's for like a 5-year-old.
This was the story?
Okay. First of all, it's a finger. How is it walking?
He's the ghost of the bloody finger because he has a bloody finger.
But he's okay. Oh, audience, I apologize. I mean, like I thought we could get away with something with it, but honestly, yeah, you're stuck with the B team today. I'm so sorry. Me included.
You know, Shops, I think your Thibodeau story kind of beats this one.
My
I think that story,
honestly,
that joke
though,
beats this.
Well, okay, that was pretty good, Tyler. For you to say all that top of your head, it's pretty good. Good job. Good job. Well, keeping it on theme, on track here, let's go ahead and get into some personal stories, unless that was your personal story, of maybe something spooky that's happened to you in your past. Jose, do you have any spooky stories to tell us of your own upbringing?
I mean, I wish I had one of those little haunting stories that you always watch in TV shows and stuff. That never happened. But I will remember, and it's like engraved in my brain since I was a little kid. I lived in Alaska, you know, the good old biggest state in all of the United States, bigger than Texas.
Are you sure about that?
It is. It is bigger than Texas.
I don't believe you.
No, remember he brought up that map one time. And
It's bigger than Texas.
Remember how he wanted to scientifically prove to us that Russia isn't as big as they say they are?
Yeah, they're tiny. Remember we did that thing where we took the globe and you would move it and it would like...
Yeah, that's fake news.
Like Africa's huge. Like we think Africa's small, but it's massive.
Yeah, it's huge.
Anyways, so back to...
I never thought Africa was small.
Well, okay, whatever. Back to my thing. So I lived in Alaska, and there was this like, so I lived in North Pole, Alaska. It's kind of like the middle of nowhere, Alaska, and like south of Fairbanks, which is like one of the bigger cities.
Yeah.
And there, like near my parents' house, there was like a thrift store, like just some random thrift store on the road, just random thrift store. We went in there. I can't even remember why we went in there, but it's me and my dad. And I remember walking into this room. And I don't know if you've ever seen Goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know that doll? Like the little puppet?
The dummy?
The dummy, the dummy.
Slappy, I think.
Whatever. I don't care what. I'd never watch Goosebumps because I'm scared of that thing. But I swear I saw what looked like Slappy sitting on a chair in this one room of like the thrift shop, just sitting there.
Okay.
And it just scared me, man. Like it just sat there and like I was like, why is it here? And like it's just engraved in my mind. Now, that's not really a scary story, but it's just
It was scary to you.
Scary encounter that I've always remembered. Like I remember seeing it. It was like it was actually sitting next to another like what do they even call them? They're not like
what?
A doll?
It's not like a doll, but it's like the ventriloquist dolls.
Yeah,
a puppet.
Like
It's a puppet.
like one of those puppets. It's like there's another one sitting next to it. Yes. But like
make that sound.
yeah, but like so that's
like
something.
Jeff Dunham.
Yeah, like Jeff Dunham. But like, yeah, ever since then, it's always been engraved in my mind. Scared the
Wow.
crap out of me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I sympathize with that. As a kid, you know, like, and this is kind of something we can also talk about maybe is that just like random things kind of like stick with you. Like, even if they're not like necessarily inherently scary, they kind of like have this fear element attached to it. Like, for instance, I once watched this movie about vampires when I was a kid. I wasn't really allowed to watch movies about vampires when I was a kid, but it came on and I watched it. It was like a kid's movie, but it still like was kind of creepy. And then like I remember the specific smell when I watched the movie, and it was a really like weird kind of musty smell. But I'm always reminded of the movie whenever I smell that, and I don't really know what it is. It's just kind of like a random occurrence, you know. But it's not scary. It's just like the fact that I smell it, and then I'm immediately associated with fear, you know.
How did you smell the movie?
No, not the
Like your
movie.
house smelled
No,
musty?
my whole point, Tyler, is that basically I smelled something specific in the moment, and I now associate that smell with fear. So
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's really weird how the mind works that way. Tyler, do you have any scary stories? You have a very exciting life.
Honestly, I don't.
Really?
My little joke there at the beginning is
Okay. You thought that was like
about as good as it gets.
did that spook you out?
Didn't spook me
No.
out. I made it
Okay.
up actually.
Good. Oh wow.
Hey,
You
one
know-
time
Yeah.
I was at we were at some random person's house back when I was in Virginia, and they had a Ouija board,
Oh, it was fun.
and we were just screwing around because that's what people do when
Thank
they're
you for that visual demonstration.
when they have a Ouija board out. They're just like thinking they can try to make it move or whatever.
Sure.
And I swear, I don't know what we did, but it did move once. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what we asked,
on.
but it did move.
Well, okay. So
Come
you're talking about when
on,
they had
man.
their fingers on it.
Yeah,
and
like
actually
we had
moved
our
and stuff.
fingers on it. Like you
Oh,
know,
you were participating.
I was one of the people that was
Whoa.
holding it when it moved.
And it moved on
And I
its
didn't
own.
push it. I swear.
Wow.
And the
Isn't
other
it like
guy.
the character moves or something?
No, it's like the. Have you seen?
Do you know? Do you
I'm
know?
gonna, I'm gonna be honest. I don't totally know what I know the premise of a Ouija board, but I've never seen one.
Well, before we
I
get
don't
into it,
really-
what do you think the premise of a Ouija board is?
Well, I know it's something about like demonic, right? Like it's like manipulation of the spirits.
Said just like that Southern Baptist over there.
Demonic.
It's just
No, but it's just
demonic.
it's a game, or
Well, yeah,
is
it's a game, but like I mean, yeah, there is like spiritual implications. Essentially, it's the idea is to attune with the dead. So
like your grandma, like
yeah, like you're trying to speak with the dead. So Ouija board essentially like it has a bunch of letters on it, and then you're supposed to all have your fingers on like this little piece, this little triangle
It's like
piece.
a triangle piece with a little like glass in the middle that like
the
when it
Illuminati
moves-
logo.
Yeah, and you're supposed to let
Yeah.
the spirit take control of it and guide you along the letters to spell out a word, essentially.
and that's what is the dead is speaking to you.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of movies have used that as like basically their.
Isn't that Jumanji? No,
No.
Jumanji's its own game, right?
It's a.
It's a movie actually.
Yeah, but the game they play the game, and that's how
I
they
think
end
the
up
game
in the
was
jungle.
the movie.
Well, yeah, but no, that's not how the game's played.
Oh.
They roll the dice and it just moves by
yeah,
itself.
but that
Oh,
was the
okay.
movie.
With
before the
Ouija,
game.
like literally, it's just like it's pretty simple. I mean, like a lot of people will just move it themselves and try to figure their friends out. But you're saying it was real.
I mean, so we were like, it was me. I think there was, I mean, it was a group of us, but
Sure.
it was like me and two other people, I think, that actually had our hands on it. And like, they both swear up and down. Now, one of them might have been messing around because
Yeah.
we tried to do it multiple times where we were like screwing around with it, trying to see, and it didn't move. And then finally, there was at one point, I remember we had our fingers on it.
Yeah.
And it did move, but it didn't we didn't continue to let it like,
sure,
you know what I'm
sure.
saying? Like we stopped after it happened, and we were like, oh, who moved it? Somebody moved it.
Oh yeah.
How if you're all watching it, how would you would know if someone moved it?
No, I mean, true, but like
But you're like somebody moved it, either somebody touched it
Well,
or
it's
somebody
like-
did it.
we had our fingers like this, and it like I wasn't moving, but I could feel it moving. I wasn't pushing. Like obviously, you can push it,
It's really spooky.
but also make it look like you're not moving it. You know, like you can you tell that I'm like actually physically moving it?
Sounds great.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, whatever.
All right.
All I'm saying is that none of us actually did this. Like I didn't do this when I did it, and the other guys claim that they didn't do it either. So
Wow. Okay.
But everyone put their hands on the same.
yeah, we
The
all
same
like,
piece,
the
right?
couple guys that did it, we all put our our hands
Oh,
on the same
I thought it was like 3 different pieces, and I was like, it'd be obvious who moved it.
no, it's
Yeah.
like,
We're also describing to you something you've probably never really like seen in action before. coming from New Orleans, I didn't really see anything, but I did hear a lot of freaky stories.
That place is wild.
yeah.
They got like voodoo shops on every corner there, man.
corner. Oh yeah, just like
grind up
Starbucks over there.
like grind up some freaking bat bones and snort it or something.
Yeah, that.
Yes, let's do a line
again,
of bat bones.
again, my Southern Baptist friends. No, so one of the stories I actually heard from my uncle one time is that like he was like driving late one night. I think it was my uncle. He was driving late one night, like on a highway. And it was probably like 9:00 at night, and he swears that a literal demon jumped on his car, and he had to drive it. He had to like actually swerve to get it off his car, and that was
Like it was like on the hood or
like,
something.
Just
Just like
jumped on his hood. Jumped on his hood, and then like he had to actually swear to get it off. And I don't know, how true it is. I just remember hearing that as a kid, and it freaked me out. Like just like and because you're in that, in that city, like you just hear it all the freaking time, so you're always very sensitive to like scary and just like horrific imagery. It's one of the reasons probably I'm really not into horror movies. I don't know if either of you are into horror movies.
why do you think that New Orleans has such like a vibe, or like they're known for that like voodoo culture?
So
so heavily?
voodoo comes from Africa, and there is a very large African American community there, and I believe a lot of them brought that culture with them. And again, not all voodoo is inherently bad in their culture, but I'm just saying that's probably where the inspiration came from, because a lot of it's African based. Now, again, just like everything, a lot of it can be cheapened, like Americanized, to where it's just gags basically, like Ouija boards. They sell it at Target. They don't sell it.
They do sell it. At Target.
Yeah, they sell it
It's
everywhere.
weird.
Because like they're looking at it as like it's just a little board game and that's it. But like it actually does have some heavy spiritual background.
It's like doing a seance.
It is a seance. So it's really weird how culture accepted voodoo and like that kind of stuff. I don't think it's like inherently believed or anything. It's just like there and it's normal. But in New Orleans, yeah, it's just everywhere, it is what it is.
Yeah, my dad was telling me that he went into one of the voodoo shops and he was basically like making a joke, like making fun of it.
Yeah.
And the owner or the shop worker or whatever legit got mad at him and kicked him out.
Yeah, they will.
Said, this isn't a joke. You need to leave.
They will. Actually, my pastor at that time, he claims that he actually walked inside a voodoo shop because he was looking to, now I don't encourage this, but he was like looking to challenge the owner of the voodoo shop. But not even challenge, like he literally walked in the store before he could say anything, and the owner of the shop actually started like screaming and jumped on her desk, like the clerk did on her desk, and was screaming in this like very masculine, deep voice to get out. And he swears by it. I'm just like, holy crap, dude! Like, and I believe it. Like at least some of that stuff. It can obviously be like Hollywood's also ruined a lot of it, but like. I believe definitely some of that stuff just can be real, like I've seen some crazy stuff, so it's enough to believe it,
I mean, if the demonic, like the Bible talks about the demonic and, Jesus casting out demons, like
yeah. Well, honestly,
it
yeah.
could exist today.
So not all of you may believe in the Bible, and that's totally fine. But me and Caleb and most of our friends do, so that's kind of why maybe we do believe in some of this stuff, but in my opinion, even if you don't believe in the Bible, I still think it affects, real life. But, that's where our beliefs are. But as I was saying, it actually kind of diminished it sort of killed my interest in like horror movies. I've noticed that when I get scared, it's usually like it's built with anticipation. Like when you're watching a movie, it has every advantage to scare you. Like the music can be just right, the sound effects just right, the imagery is just right to give you a perfect scare. I feel like I'm not actually scared that much in real life, which is really weird. So like I've been in like haunted houses and stuff, and I go in and out without being scared at all. It's really weird, but I can't handle any kind of jump scare or anything like that. What about you guys?
Yeah, I don't. I'm the same way. Movies, like, so I always say I love horror movies, but I love like the slasher horror movies. I'm not a fan of like the psychological horror movies. Like those freak me out. Like, I remember watching Sinister, like which came out. Like I don't remember when they came out, like over 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And like, holy moly, was it terrifying! Yeah. Like, it was like one of those. It was jump scare kind of movie. There's a lot of jump scares. It was like just different like things that like were in it. It was a terrifying movie. But like, I can watch Scream. I can watch like Friday the 13th, obviously like today, Alien versus Predator. Like I can watch all that stuff because those kind of ones aren't as much of like scary. They're more just like gory. Like they have jump scares, but like it's not like, I don't know, psychological like horror movies like Paranormal Activity scared me.
Scary film.
Sinister, like, I mean, those kind of movies, just like they go over the top. What was it? Insidious.
Yeah.
Those movies, like, ugh.
Yeah, which are most horror movies, or like most of the big ones, are all loosely based on a true story, which is actually what freaks a lot of people out because it just feels more relatable that way.
Loosely.
Yeah, it's very loosely.
It's
Most
like
of the time,
Paranormal Activity said this is all real security camera footage from real homes just compiled together.
Oh yeah, well I know that stuff
Real.
is
For
fake,
real,
but
right?
like it's still scary.
Well, like
the
the story
premise
of
it.
like I think Insidious and like what's a house movie?
Hereditary.
No, the one about the old one about the house, the haunted house, with the one who killed his whole family. Amityville Horror. Yeah, those are both based off of like true real people.
Well, Amityville Horror, I thought that was like that's a house.
That's
like,
an actual
legit in New York.
It's a real house you can actually visit. Yeah. And that did actually have a real life murder, not just one, but like the dude killed his entire family at like 3 a.m. And I believe it was confirmed he was a Satan worshiper. Like he actually did have like a shrine and everything in his house, hidden in his house, which is really creepy. But like, yeah, once Hollywood gets a hold of that, they're going to add a whole bunch of stuff to it that didn't happen, but then sell it as if it did. Very little is known about actually what happened to the family that actually moved into that house, other than that supposedly the next week or so they ran away with just the clothes on their backs and they left everything else behind,
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, it's kind of freaky how just like.
Did you see so have you seen, there's like that new, it's like, I guess a new Bigfoot sighting. Have you seen the clips of that? It's like literally
I've seen that. Yeah.
I don't know if it's legit because, everybody does like, there's so many like fake calls on like, or fake images or videos, but like apparently people are on a train, traveling and they claim that they got footage of Bigfoot out. I don't even know where it is.
I've seen the clip. A lot of people believe that it was just a guy in a costume, but which is like probably, story of everything. But for whatever reason, this particular clip definitely has everyone like kind of on edge a little bit or just like kind of excited. Do you believe in anything like a cryptid or anything like Bigfoot, Tyler, anything like that?
No, because I feel like they would have found him by now.
So you don't believe in like Loch Ness, Bigfoot?
No.
Or...
I always wanted to. Every time I watch those shows, I just thought they're so funny. I always just want to like get a Bigfoot costume and like run through the woods.
He's probably the one who is scaring everyone right
This
now.
is the guy. This is the guy that was running over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like hide in the woods and then just poke my head out and then
it's
just
like,
enough for people to like, oh, it's Bigfoot.
Just kidding. It's Tyler in a costume.
So why do you think people want to believe this stuff so much? Why do you think people want to believe in like the spirit world and the, like the idea that you could be haunted or that the fact that Bigfoot could be real, like these monsters or whatnot? Like, why do people want to be scared,
I don't know if they want to be scared. I just think they want to know if it's a legit thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the Loch Ness Monster, for example, they've claimed and they have like old images. Like, I mean, that the iconic image of the Loch Ness Monster is like a black and white photo of his head sticking out, looking like a dinosaur from like Jurassic Park or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think people just want to know if it's legit. Like, people just want to know. Like, I don't think that like they're like, I want to be scared. I don't think they want to be scared. I just think they want to be like, is there really a Bigfoot out there? Is there really a abominable snowman? Or is there really like a Slenderman? I'm just kidding. Slenderman's not real. Slenderman's not real.
That's another. You know what? That's actually really fun. Tyler, do you know who Slenderman is?
Not a clue.
You need to play the game. He needs to play the game.
Well, this will be fun. I just want you to like stop me if it sounds too crazy. Okay, so cryptid is like sort of like an internet monster, like a creature that was made up by someone on the internet and posted all over, what would it be, Reddit or forums or such. And one of the most famous ones was a being known as Slenderman. Essentially, it's a guy in a suit, like a black business suit with a red tie, and he's like super tall, but he has like no face, and he's like bald.
So it's just like skin.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Just skin face.
But when you look at him, you actually kind of like, you see static in your eyes, basically, and you basically like, people don't really know exactly what he does, but essentially, like, you go blind and then he kills you or something else happens.
He just takes you.
He takes you, but like the mystery is like they don't know really what
vanish.
They don't really know what he does, but he can vanish. He can appear in random places. And the reason it blew up so big is because one, they made a very popular game about him, but also B, there was a lot of very convincing pictures at the time where they just photoshopped him in the background of like these old black and white photos where he's around like children and stuff, and that's what really scared people. But people got obsessed with them.
And it was like a gimmick too, though, with the children.
Yeah.
It was like a gimmick that he would come and take the children.
Yeah,
like in their sleep or something.
No, just like
on playgrounds and stuff.
Playgrounds and
so like he became a bit of an urban legend, which is weird because like at first it just sounds so crazy, but there were so many people who generally like kind of believed it. And it became such a big phenomenon that there were actually these very infamous story about these schoolgirls who actually lured one of their friends into the woods and like stabbed her 40 times because they thought that would summon Slenderman or something. The girls survived, but they legitimately believed, like they were middle schoolers, but they legitimately believed that Slenderman was real. Just became on this phenomenon, and they were arrested, and I believe they just recently got released. But yeah, freaking crazy, just like the influence culture has, and again, the whole thing about people wanting this stuff to be real, like.
But I think that's like a tale as old as time because there's a lot of like Greek mythology is the same way. Like Medusa, like if you look at her and make eye contact, you'll turn to stone. It's the same kind of.
So like a modern day
urban myth,
right? Yeah,
that has been around for thousands and thousands
of years. The funny
thing
with Slenderman though is that it was legitimately made up.
Yeah,
there was I don't know if you've seen the YouTube videos of like some guy like went as far as to make YouTube videos of him like encountering like Slender Man, like, and it was like a couple part series YouTube videos where it's like him like it's almost like a movie where it's like going from like he captures this moment and then you see the Slenderman dude in the background in the woods and then like eventually later on you see him in a house. In his house, all the lights are off, and you see the Slenderman figure outside of the house trying to like get in, and it's a whole thing. It's real creepy.
Wow,
but
yeah, and people went all out for it. I mean, like he was also like the most requested costume, for years and years and years, just for Halloween and stuff. But yeah, it's very because it's so. What's weird about him is that he's so simple. I think that's what's so creepy about him is that he's so simple. It's just a guy in a suit. So it's like, I feel like the stuff that is more creepy is when it's more like relatable and when it's more like down to earth in a weird way. Like children laughing can be really, really creepy and scary, but it's children laughing. Rather than, on the other flip side of that, you see like a scary looking demon monster. Like, I don't know, you see a dime a dozen of those, right? But you just know deep down that's not real. But like when you see like a creepy child, you've seen creepy children in your life probably, like, just laughing or whatnot, and it's usually like normal, and then when you see it in a creepy sense, it's like, oh, this is jarring. That's why I feel like movies about like haunted houses are really creepy because like that kind of almost invades your own security because you're always in a house, and then it makes you look around your corner, make sure to check all your closets, like there's definitely a science to it. But yeah, I feel like just the more simple designs is what really nails people.
I mean, I don't know. I might be the only one that did this when I was younger, and maybe if I was in a situation where I like thought about it, like, am I the only one that like when I would be walking to go somewhere like in my house and I turn the light off, I would be booking it like sometimes. I used to do that as a kid so much. I was downstairs and I was trying to go upstairs, but I need to turn the lights off. I turn the lights.
You just run.
You just feel something. You're just booking it up the stairs.
Dude, I hated the house being dark at night. Like my parents were like, okay, we're going to bed. And they shut off all the lights. There's no lights in the house. And then we had stairs on top of that. So it's like, if you're like, want to get a snack or you want to get water, you have to go to the bathroom or something, you have to look down the stairs and there's pit of abyss, blackness. And you're like, I'm not coming back up here alive.
Yeah.
So have any of y'all ever been to any good haunted houses?
I've been to one. I went like 2 or 3 years in a row.
A legitimate haunted house or just okay?
Yeah, Hangman's. It's in Fort Worth.
So wait, no. So I'm talking like I mean like an actual house that's haunted.
I meant like Halloween.
Oh.
I meant like you went to
like an attraction.
Yeah, like what you're talking about. That's what I meant.
I've been to an attraction.
Okay. Yeah, when I went, I've only ever been one time because I don't do haunted houses. I don't do scary stuff. To me, that's not my idea of fun at all. But
well,
in the town.
We gotta take him to one.
Yeah.
In the town that we grew up in, the fire station always put on a haunted house like inside the fire
Sure.
station.
Yeah.
And they'd build it all out. And I remember just being in line so scared that I was probably 10 at the time. And they gave me a popsicle stick and they said, if you get scared, just hold up the popsicle stick and say, go away, and all the angry monsters will go away.
That's
and I'm
lame.
like, but then me as a kid, I'm like, then the angry monsters must be real. Right? So I think it made it even worse
That's interesting.
because they're like, well, they basically played it as like we've trained our monsters to where if you hold up the popsicle stick, they'll leave you alone.
Wow.
But as if they're real.
That's interesting because, like, okay, so my experience with haunted houses, I went to Hangman's a few times, and I liked it, but like again, I wasn't scared at all, which I thought I was gonna be terrified because I prepared for it. You know,
I think they're more to me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think a lot of those haunted houses that I've been to, they're more just funny than they are scary.
Well, the reason I wasn't scared is because back when I was, how I was saying about the movies, how everything's just like perfectly prepared. With haunted houses, the music is not always going to be right on key, because you're in a group, you're in a large group of people, and like you may not be the person that they try to jump at. And then I've read up that apparently if you're like in the front or the back, they won't try to get you. It's the people in the middle that they try to get because those are people who feel like they're the most safe.
yeah,
But like I just never got scared. In fact, I found myself just making fun of it all. But I also realized that my most primal instinct is to get angry when I'm afraid. So I'm just like pissed off the whole time. So like if someone runs up to me and is like booga booga booga, I'm just like whatever, dude. And he's like, oh, and then or I'll try to overcompensate and be funny. So like if there's like a creepy lady like walking up to me or getting real close, I'd be like, well, just pass me your number while you're at it. And then she like laughs and then walks away. I'm just like, I've conquered this. Like this is not scary to me. I know there's some haunted houses experiences that will be terrifying because they get really like grippy. So
you gotta go to the ones that like are really interactive.
yeah, I don't know if I could do
I
that.
heard those are wild.
But another haunted house I went to, interestingly enough, there's two more. I forgot about this. There's one that was at the Renaissance Fair, which is I didn't expect this, but me and my best friend go every year, and now this is a tradition of ours. There's like a big castle, and it looks like nothing at the front. It looks like it's going to be like 5 minutes, maybe less than that, if you look at the attraction from the front. But then you pay the money and you go inside and you like do your whole circle around, and it's really long and it's actually really in depth, and there's a lot of atmosphere there, and they put a lot of work into it, and it's just creepy because I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
Same thing with, I went to a middle school haunted house one time because me and my friend, we knew a teacher, and she was like, hey, you want to go to this haunted house experience? And it was really cheaply done and everything, but like it was actually kind of creepy just because like it was in a school, and it was really dark and there was kids running around. Like it was really weird. And actually we saw a little girl who was like actually like breaking down in tears, just like walking away. We're like, oh boy, this is intense for some people.
I mean, so like when I was in Virginia, when I lived there, like so there's like two pretty decent sized amusement parks, like about an hour each way I lived. And so, amusement parks have like Halloween haunt type thingies. And so we'd go like every Halloween, we'd go to each park and check out the Halloween festivities and stuff. So that was kind of I think there was like one time I went into like a haunted house attraction like that, but like most of the time it was just more or less like in the amusement parks I'd go to, they'd have like multiple different haunted house attractions that you just walk through. But after a while they got really cheesy, and most of the time I was just going with girls to go with girls.
I was with the girl one time, and she literally like, again, I was the one who thought I was going to be scared, but like she got scared really bad, and then they targeted her. I was like, I'm in the clear. Just like,
yeah, they love to do that. They'll pick the person that is actually the most terrified.
Would y'all do Six Flags Fright Fest? Would y'all do the coffin challenge?
What's the Oh, I know.
So I just looked it up. You had to spend 30 hours in the coffin.
Yep.
And you get $600, a gold season pass, and an express haunt pass.
What?
So
that is not for 30 hours of what?
30. You literally have to
in the
lay
coffin.
in the coffin for 30 hours.
And do what? Can you go to the bathroom? Eat?
there's probably like a catheter or something.
Coffin side food and beverage.
What about
One bathroom break every 3 hours. But I think your head is exposed. Hold on. I'm looking at pictures here. I think so. Your head is still exposed. So it's like one of those like it's like the top foot and a half of the coffin.
Does everybody
doesn't
like?
have a lid.
Are you like on like people looking at
That's
you?
humiliating.
Yeah, I guess you just sit there and anyone can come, walk by and see you doing your little challenge.
So
What
for
kind of food you get?
$600.
So when I was a kid, I heard about that challenge and I thought that was horrifying. I was like, you could not pay me to do that. I would hate that. But nowadays, I'm like, I don't think I would care because like that kind of seems chill,
I
right?
mean, can you have access to your hands?
Access.
Yeah,
Like you're not like stuck in a coffin where it's just your head sticking out. Can you like?
You're
use
probably well, it's probably like
No.
claustrophobic. Like you probably just can't.
they'll
move.
bring you food or drink. So obviously, like you got to eat somehow, and then every
Give me
3
all the
hours,
alcohol.
every 3 hours, you can go to the bathroom.
I would hate not
It's
being
more-
able to move.
It's more just is sitting in one place for 30 hours worth $600.
but also, I feel like the smell would get to me.
What smell?
Don't you just
of
imagine
what?
it? I don't know, but don't you just imagine it really smelling bad? Like Fright Fest, they always put up, all this
Oh, the-
incense and stuff, and then it's probably hot, and then just like I don't know. I really think just the smells would get to me. I don't even know what it would be, but it would probably kill me. So no, I don't think I'd do it for $600. I think there's better things you can do.
Yeah, it's really not that much money.
You can see. I mean, yeah, when you're younger, it seems like $1 million to you.
Why
but,
30?
like,
That's really random.
30 hours? Yeah, why not like 24 or something?
Yeah.
Oh well. Would you do it, Tyler?
No, not for $600.
Okay, say we up the ante. Say 1,000.
No, not worth my time.
I mean, I'm curious as
30
to what
hours?
the food is.
Okay.
Food and drink. Like, what
Okay.
is it? And can I sit up while I eat?
Could I do it? Yeah, I could do it.
Okay,
But-
okay. Would you do it for $2,000, all you can eat?
It is all you can eat already, though.
Well, it's like every few hours probably. I don't
Yeah.
think they just keep bringing you food. $2,000 for 24 hours. Would you do it?
Honestly, the worst part would be if you can only get up every 3 hours to go to the bathroom. You'd really have to like pay
Hold it
attention to how much you drink because
Yeah.
you end up could get a lot.
I mean,
pretty
I don't
uncomfortable up in there.
Yeah,
I
remember
don't
the smells I'm
think
talking about?
I don't think the Six Flags people want you to pee in the coffin, so they might let you go.
Probably have a bucket. No, so no, $2,000, 24 hours. Would you do it? I'm trying to convince you to do.
Yeah, I probably
Okay,
would.
$2,000.
I mean, I'm down for it at 600. Honestly, I'll do it now. I mean, I'm not going to because I
Wow.
got responsibilities and work and whatnot.
You should ask your wife if that's okay.
Yeah, right. No, she'd be like, well, actually, she
babe.
might say yes. She'd be like, $600.
That'd be hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah, why would she care?
For real. Yeah, you can go lay there
You're
all
bring-
day,
you're
all
the
night.
bread- you're the
We'll
breadwinner.
see you 2 days from now.
That's awesome. Oh, glad you brought that up because yeah, and there's some things, man. But people will do crazy for money. Have you thought about? I know you kind of do Christmas lights every other year, Tyler. Have you thought about making a haunted house? Maybe.
I mean, a lot of people do that do like the fully programmed out Christmas
yeah,
lights
yeah.
and stuff. It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
time.
You might as well do it now. Well, not this year, but you might as well just do it like next year.
Yeah,
and then
you
just
gotta,
keep the
like-
lights over till Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to really plan.
I know this. I looked at this one video of like obscure haunted houses, and there was one that creeped me out. It was just a dude who has a normal house, and he like lightly decorates it, but it's just a normal run of the mill house
Like in a neighborhood or
in the
something?
neighborhood, suburbans, and it's it's completely dark, and it's just him, and he puts on a mask. He's like, "You paying the money?" He's like, "All right," puts on the mask. He's this big dude, and he stalks you the entire time. I'm like, that's way scarier.
Like you're just in his house.
Like you're walking around his house and he'll occasionally jump out at you. I'm like, that's so much scarier in my opinion. I would not do that.
Yeah, because it's like you were talking about earlier. It's
It's
like
relatable. Yeah.
relatable and close enough to reality.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, this is just like some random dude's house, and all of a sudden here comes
Like,
somebody.
yeah, exactly. You could be walking through the kitchen. He just comes out of the pantry. It's like, oh my God. Like no, I can't do that. I mean, maybe with my friends and stuff, but even then I'm just like, oh, I'm terrified of that kind of stuff,
Hey, some people, that's a thrill.
Yeah, it's a thing. Weird how people get a thrill from that. I'm like, all right, whatever. You do you, bro. I don't judge. We don't judge here on the Third Wheel Podcast.
Third Wheel Podcast.
Third Wheel Podcast. How do y'all feel so far about being on the Third Wheel
We
Podcast?
feel good. Oh, I feel good.
Y'all have never been on a podcast before, right?
No,
Nope.
I always joked that I would be on one.
Well, here
Here's
you
my
are.
debut.
This is your big break. All right. So we have quite a few listeners actually. So almost 100 subscribes. Hey yo. Anything you'll want to say to those out there? Just like a little brief intermission. Like, what is something if you could say one thing to all these hundreds of people out there? What would it be?
Sometime, well, I don't know about every tattoo shop, but if
Okay.
you are out, if you're out on Friday the 13th and you want to get a tattoo,
Yeah.
a couple of tattoo shops, I don't know which ones, but most of them do like flash deals for like $20 or 30 or 40 or something. I don't know how much, but they do a flash deal on Friday the 13th for little tattoos.
It's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've seen people post about it all the time. It's like, yeah, Halloween or Friday the 13th tattoos, you can get Jason Voorhees on your arm for $20.
I don't think I would do a horror themed one, which probably defeats the purpose. But
I mean, I don't know what they. I mean, it's like, you know, they'll show like a sheet of like different images that they'll use, and so that like that's kind of like this is what I can tattoo on you kind of thing.
wow. So okay, you say that. I actually recently did some research, and it seems that most industries have like Friday the 13th deals. I'm talking about like cruise ships have like deals on Friday the 13th, and like airplane like airliners like will have Friday the 13th.
Yeah, because people are paranoid and they don't want to go
Exactly.
anywhere
You
on
fly on Friday
13th.
the 13th.
So that's
Dude,
the thing.
y'all imagine a haunted cruise ship.
A haunted cruise ship.
Yeah, like the entire cruise ship and everything about it for like if they say they did it for like the month of October was like a haunted house, but like you were on it for like 7 days
Wow.
and everywhere you went was haunted.
I feel like I'd be desensitized after a while.
That'd be awful.
Maybe it's really mad.
You gotta at least like
You'd have to pay me
get
$600.
rid of the bit after a little bit. Like maybe like one of the nights it's like a haunted boat situation, but outside of that, it's just a normal cruise. Because yeah, like you said, it would be whatever you said,
Desensitizing, yeah.
Like you just would be like, my whole life is haunted now.
No, it'd be cool if it was like maybe every few hours something haunted would happen, or like in the middle of the night you'd be woken up from
Or a
noise
murder
something.
mystery,
Ooh, that'd be fun. A cruise ship with a murder mystery on it. Now that's interesting.
or just a boat.
Now,
Cruise ship would be too much.
would either of you fly on Friday the 13th?
yeah, I'm not superstitious about
Because
any of that
actually,
stuff.
there are quite a few instances where some like plane crashes have happened on Friday the 13th. I know it's happened every day, but specifically Friday the 13th, where like really like messed up stuff has happened too, and like entire cruise ships have like completely sunk on Friday the 13th. That's the reason like cruise ships don't or have the deals as well. Like from a marketer's perspective, I always kind of wonder if it's like the corporation being like, "Hey, we actually are a little superstitious," or we're taking full advantage of.
Well, that I think that carries to more than just even Friday the 13th. I've seen. So I watched this thing on like Netflix or whatever. It was one of those like I think that William Shatner like show or whatever. He's like the host for it. But they were talking about the origin of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And I can't remember fully about it, but I think it had to do with some king or something like that. And he died, and before he died, he like cursed that day.
Oh.
And that's when it's like continued throughout lifetime after that, as like Friday the 13th being, or just the the Friday the 13th being like that day that's like sketchy stuff, bad happens kind of thing.
That's
but
actually,
like,
yeah, that's good you brought that up. I was actually I never thought of that, like why it actually.
yeah,
started.
like I think that's where it originated, I guess, just that whole thing. But like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen like, it's like, I mean, if you go to like movie theaters, I think there's a specific letter that they skip in rows.
Yeah.
Like they skip that letter because it's like bad luck or something.
Yep.
Or like in elevators.
I think hotels do it.
Yeah, hotels do it too, where they'll skip a whole floor
Yep.
because it's like that floor is like bad
Isn't
luck.
that really weird? That's just super odd, especially in this like logistic culture we have. Like they're willing to do something like that. But hey, I mean, like people be people, and superstition. We don't like to admit it, but a lot of people are obsessed with it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone know the origin of Halloween?
No.
No.
So I might be butchering part of it.
Candy.
But essentially, yeah, there is like it's essentially a mixture of sort of like a American Christian holiday with pagan holiday in a way. So like it was originally like a Christian themed holiday.
Isn't that all of them? No, I'm
All-
just kidding.
It was labeled All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
And it was like I want to say like early 1900s or maybe late 1800s, where All Hallows Eve was a day where people would actually dress up as saints and Bible characters. And as time went on, it actually started formed into more of a costume thing, and then like sort of pagan traditions or just like kind of ideas sort of set their way into it, with the characters and whatnot. But yeah, just like a lot of holidays, we have are just like either Christian, pagan, or both. You know, it's really weird.
Or they both.
Yeah, it's usually
they
it's
both
usually both.
use like the same day for tying it in together.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. I like Halloween. I
Sure.
really do. I think it's a fun. I don't know. I just like the whole vibe behind it. You know, just like scary stuff. But like, I don't know. I'm not like I said. I'm not one to be really into like scary movie type things or just like really messed up movies.
Yeah.
But like, I do like all those slasher movies that like Halloween and stuff as well. Like those are all fun.
Very spoopy.
They're fun, but like they're not like I can go to bed at night knowing that something like that won't like scare me.
Sure. You know, one last kind of not spooky story I had, but a funny story I have from childhood is I watched. Have you ever seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah.
It's a movie about clowns.
No, I've never seen it.
It's
Yeah,
dumb.
they're alien clowns.
So stupid.
And they come and like they abduct people and they bring them to their circus ship and they wrap them in cotton candy and then they like drink their blood with like little straws.
What was it? Made in like 1985?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
Sounds
like the
like it.
90s.
Yeah.
It was
Yep.
ridiculous.
It was comedy, but like kind of scary in some
Yeah.
ways. It was a little creepy, and I think it was just cool to be scared of clowns. So I wasn't like terrified of them, but I just like, oh man, I don't like clowns now. Well, my sister was like, okay, I got him now, and she wanted to scare me really bad, so she spent like the whole night or a whole morning printing out like demonic clown pictures, like at least 20 of them. And she taped them all over like the bathroom wall and windows and everything, the glass and everything. So like I woke up and I went in and I just turned the light on. It's just like
Clowns
clown
everywhere.
surprise. And but what was really funny is that she also put a picture of a clownfish. It's just like
No.
she has a good sense of humor too.
That's
Just
funny.
like-
I've never been afraid of clowns. Like
Yeah.
I've had some friends that are like terrified of clowns. I don't know what their deal is. Like they're not that like literally they're not that scary. I guess for me. You know,
Sure.
some people that is their fear, just like the same thing as people having fear of spiders or snakes or something. Like it wasn't a fear of mine. I mean, I don't know what was like a couple years ago. Remember there was like that whole clown situation where there were people like literally out and about like in clown costumes that were just like trying to scare people.
yeah,
Yeah, I think you like see them like at football games and stuff like that.
Well, like it was like a thing. Like they were out in the street.
yeah, I don't think there were any deaths because of it, but
No.
like, I was very surprised that someone didn't just like gun them down because like why would you can't blame them. Just
I feel like it was around the time when when they remade it was
yeah,
coming out.
I think you're right about that. But the thing is that they wouldn't just like dress up as clowns. They chased after people with like knives in their hands and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's smart. That's really, really smart.
so there's a guy on like Main Street Grapevine area, and you have seen those like human statue, like street performer kind of dudes.
Yeah.
So this guy like dresses up like a bush, and he has like a large flower pot, and he's literally like on the side of this main like shopping area, kind of like old timey kind of downtown shop area, and he'll sit there next to the door and he'll stand and he looks like a bush. And what he'll do is he'll have like a little twig in his hand, but you don't know it's a person, and you're literally like 2 feet from this guy, and he'll drop the twig, and then all he does is he'll lean over and be like, oh, I dropped my stick. But he scares you because you're just standing there and you just think it's some kind of like, you know, bush or, you know, some just like plant that these people have for the decoration in the front of their building, and then it's a person. And it's not even like, it's not jump scare. It's not like he jumps out at you. He literally just like drops this like fake twig and leans over and it's like, oh, sorry, I dropped my twig.
It's
and then,
startling.
and then stands back up.
Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, you hear people screaming. That's probably that guy.
What the heck? Does he just? What is he there like all the time?
No, like I mean, if you go like on the weekends when the weather's nice and stuff, you'll bump into him. But yeah, he like it's pretty. His disguise costume deal is pretty good actually.
Wow.
Like you'll be literally like 2 feet away from him, and you could look at like unless you know what you're looking for. Obviously, you're not normally going to pay much attention to like a patio plant or something like that. But yeah, you'll walk like there'll be 5-10 people walk right by and nobody will ever notice until he moves.
Wow.
The twig man of Grapevine.
Twig man.
Yeah, keep your eye out when you go there. for him.
So Grapevine has a twig, and where's that dog man from? The guy who made himself a dog. Do you know where he's from?
No idea what you're talking about, but
The guy who spent like millions of dollars turning himself, not millions, but like thousands and thousands of dollars turning himself into a dog.
What?
Is he from here?
Not from here, but like
How did he turn himself into a dog?
well, he made a costume, but I don't know if he got surgery. But
Is that
like,
one of them furries?
No, this is weirder than a furry.
Oh, this is weirder than a
He
furry.
legitimately wants to be a dog. Like he made himself a big, realistic, super realistic dog costume, and he walks around like a dog, and he has people treat him like a dog.
Does he eat dog food?
Yeah,
Ew.
no, legitimately, he
Probably.
says, "I identify as a dog."
Good for him.
So it's not like a furry who's like, I'm just like into that. I'm into furry creatures, or anthropomorphic, creature that's more like I genuinely want to be a dog.
I just really want to be a dog. I want
There's
somebody to say, good boy.
There's a video of him walking around like kids are petting him and stuff. I'm just like, he's like probably like this 40-year-old dude who's just like walking around. Yeah, look up a picture of him.
My God.
It's really just dog man or man had turned into a dog.
Man, dog.
Man, dog.
Dog of the man.
Dogman's a book.
No, not
Just
the
look
book.
up. Was he? I mean, just
like
just type in man who transformed
man
into
who-
a dog.
Man who turned into a dog. Yeah,
Is this him? This is his name Toko.
he looks like
Yeah.
Yep.
Japanese man has transformed himself into a dog.
Yep.
The transformation procedure to become a human dog cost him 2 million yen, equivalent to $22,000.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Sounds like a deal. I want to be a dog.
It's a steal.
Gotta sell a car.
How much do you think to be a cat? Huh?
Probably
I
more
mean,
than a
honestly, it's pretty realistic
No.
looking.
If you didn't know
Right.
it, you wouldn't be able to
dog.
tell.
Let me see. That's the guy.
That's the guy.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Well,
seriously.
when he's in his costume.
Yeah.
He's in his costume.
Yeah.
Oh,
$20,000 costume.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I don't think he got surgery, but I wouldn't put. I wouldn't.
And
put
he
it past
walks
him.
around like that.
Yep, all fours.
Yeah, it showed him like on the street, like people petting him, taking pictures with him.
Yeah, imagine a little kid petting a freaking like probably middle aged dude who's just like,
You would scratch my belly?
yeah, I don't like it.
Nope, nope.
That's why I'm saying it's a little weirder than a furry.
Oh, that's
I mean, like I'm not judging, but I'm just saying like
that's furry to the next level.
that's furry to the next level. Furries at least have a community. Actually, so imagine that being like your gimmick, and you just like you just pet a random dog that walks up to you, and it's just like, thank you, sir. It walks away.
No, yeah,
Now do my belly.
You're right. That's really all it takes because you're like legitimately convinced that it's a normal dog because why would you think anything different? And then all of a sudden it talks or stands up on two legs and walks away.
So I think what we've learned today is that
appreciate the
fear,
pet.
the most effective kind of fear is when it breaks your reality. When literally like these stories or these, like instances of horror like actually affect you in some way or jump out at you or just like, change your view of something that you normally thought was normal,
So do you think that guy, if he were to bite somebody, he'd have to get a rabies shot or get put down for rabies?
If he had to bite someone? Oh, I see. Yeah, well, he identifies as a dog, right?
Yep.
So
Does he get his checkups?
I guess so. He goes to a vet.
Bushman you can find him on the internet.
So he's okay.
Bushman.
Bushman of Grapevine.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bushman of Grapevine.
That's literally what
Bushman,
what I searched.
Good old Bushman and Dogman. They should get into a fight.
You should get Bushman on this.
Do you think Dogman would pee on Bushman?
Ooh, we should test it
Yeah, let's get them together.
and then get him on this podcast to talk about it.
Was your
How did you
experience?
feel peeing on another human like a dog?
Then he would say, "Excuse me, I'm not a human, so
I'm a dog.
I'm a dog." And that's a bush,
Wolf.
so it's not even a human. So,
Woof woof.
woof, woof. He just say woof,
He just says wolf all
woof,
the time.
Woof, woof, woof.
Arf, arf, arf.
My gosh, dude. And he'd be like sniffing you. Nah, not doing that. Well, about 10 minutes left. Let's see. So one last element of fear, AI.
AI.
Now we've talked about AI quite a few times on this podcast.
A robot.
Where do you think it's going? Do you think we should be afraid of it? Yay or nay?
I don't know. I don't think it's. I mean, it's hard to tell because realistically, like, what's to stop us humans from, like the computer just figuring itself out to like do whatever it wants, like technology. Like, what can we do? It's not like we can just go into like the internet and like block AI from just accessing anything that they want.
So you think
it wants?
You think it's an indefinite process?
I just don't know. It's like weird.
So you think it's more of an inevitable process that AI just is going to be AI? It's always going to evolve, you know. And you just
I
can't
mean, it hasn't gotten like. I mean, if you see all those memes of like cursed AI images, like it obviously still hasn't perfected the art of creating like reality yet, like too much yet. Like in some instances, yes, but like, have you seen the fingers on some of those pictures, man?
Yeah,
it's like 10 fingers. And it's like wrapped all like.
It's actually smart. So like the Midjourney one, it actually tries to hide the hands as best as possible. Like it'll put cloth or something like over it just so it doesn't.
I wonder why AI has a hard time with hands.
Like it learned itself that the fingers are not effective, you know, or it's not efficient in creating fingers, you know.
But obviously, someone is sitting there maintaining the updates on the system.
There's parameters,
and all
but
that,
yeah, I don't think the totem pole. I don't think he told them in the parameters don't show fingers.
I mean, they might have.
Yeah, but then like you could, I mean, on the Midjourney, you could be like, "Show me a hand." It'll show you a hand, but
Yeah.
it's when you see fingers on like a full body, that's when it gets all messed up. Eyes as well, but eyes are a lot better now.
Eyes are better. I don't really ever notice eyes. It's just the fingers
Yeah,
and
just the
hands, and
fingers.
like some of those cursed images like are just super chaotic for it to be a legitimate picture.
Yeah,
Like and they like the colors always look weird. You know, like when you see those like weird like those AI pictures, the colors contrasting don't look realistic. They look almost like what's that kind of coloring? Like they look matte. So whatever like
oh, Maddie,
yeah, like matted colors or whatever.
interesting. Yeah,
Pastel. That's what I'm looking for. They look more
Pastel.
pastel looking than like realistic, like colors you would see visually in real life,
that makes sense.
which is weird.
Well, on that then, do you have what is your biggest fear that you're comfortable sharing? Jose, start.
I'm scared of snakes.
Oh.
I actually saw this meme today where it was like a little cartoon, animated cartoon sketch on Facebook, and it was like this, you know, medieval army going up to this castle, and you see all the characters like on the rim of the castle, and they have a catapult, and then they catapult a snake into the castle, and then the next picture is like all the people from the castle running out, like right into their hands, essentially.
And that's your
so
castle
yeah,
right
the
there.
joke is that like all you need to do is throw a snake in there. You don't even, and then they'll just run.
Wow.
That's me for sure.
Yep.
I almost even sent that to y'all this morning.
You should have. That's
you
funny. So I have like an irrational fear of like tsunamis.
Okay.
I actually get like pretty like. You ever feel like high anxiety when you look at something?
Oh, yeah.
Like when something's overwhelming.
Yeah.
So sometimes that'll happen to me if I look at a picture of like a really big thunderstorm and it's just really bubbling up in the picture. I get like this overwhelming feeling, like holy moly, this is like intense.
Yeah.
Well, anytime I like see any videos about like big waves and tsunamis, I feel that, and it's just because like for me, like tsunamis and waves are like, I don't know. I don't have a fear of drowning. I just have a fear of seeing like a giant wave coming at me.
Have you ever
That makes
seen
sense.
one in real life?
No,
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't want
But
to.
you've never been like near the coast, have you?
Yeah, I've been to the beach plenty of times, and I see
like,
plenty
you know-
waves.
So okay, but you've never like lived near the coast enough to where that could
mean-
actually be a potential.
Yeah, like my parents, they don't live on the coast, but like they live on this like river that goes into the ocean.
Oh, okay. Oh,
But,
I
like,
see.
yeah, it's like a river. That
Why
goes
do you think that you're afraid of that?
I don't know.
Really?
I think it's. I have no idea what made me fear
What was that movie that was about that tsunami in India? It came out
sure.
a couple years ago.
I saw it. It was that one. That one. So like when you watch those like in real life, they don't look as daunting as the stuff you see like
Sure.
in movies. The ones in
Yeah, in
movies
the
is what
movies,
scare
it's
the
like
heck out of me.
8,000 feet tall. It's
Yeah.
just like
It makes you feel like an
there's
entity
no
almost.
escaping.
Well, I always
and-
remember there was one time that like I heard that like this is when I lived in Virginia, and I would think about it like not all the time, but every now and then I would think about it. There's like this place out in the UK, like this like cliff that's right by the ocean, and if like there was a landslide at that specific cliff that hit
Yeah.
the ocean, it could create like a really big wave that would travel across the whole entire Atlantic Ocean, from the UK towards like the United States, and it would be a really tall wave. They said that it's something that could like not happen, but like if it were to happen, this is what would happen if it happened, kind of thing. And I remember thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't know how I would escape because it like those waves go fast. Like, I don't know how fast they go, but they go pretty fast.
I would have to say, funny enough, hurricanes are not my fear, but I was really afraid of tornadoes when I moved here because when we moved here, there was a tornado like it felt like every other month. I don't really remember. I can't remember the last time that we've actually had like a really bad tornado here to where like we had to like, get into shelter and everything. But I feel like I had to do that all the time when I was younger, when I first moved here, but not so much anymore. That's like rational fear. Irrational fear. I used to have a fear that whenever I got on the toilet, I'd have to flush twice before using it because I was afraid that a rat was going to swim up and bite my butt. So I would flush him away before he can get to me so I could, just do it quick.
That is a very irrational fear.
Yeah.
Specifically a rat. Like a snake makes more sense than
Well,
a rat.
Yeah, because I've seen those pictures of the snakes, man.
No. So
Trust me, I've seen
have you
them.
ever seen like those animal shows, like on Animal Planet, where it's like Most Extreme, but it's talking about like weird rat facts, And one of them was that they can actually swim up pipes, and they actually can make their way all the way up through a pipe and then out of a toilet. And that scared me. And they showed like a little demographic, like a diagram of it. I was like, oh my god, that's terrifying. And also any kind of bug that like burrows in your ear or something or your mouth or something. I'm just like, oh god, that's terrifying.
I
I don't think we have any of that in the U.S.
You'd think so, but like,
In
what's stopping that? I mean, what's stopping a little ant from crawling into your ear hole?
I guess there's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it says that you can consume up to 4 spiders per year while you're sleeping. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I haven't eaten any. Thank
Healthy
God.
diet.
but-
How do you know?
I don't think we have spiders. We don't have spiders
Healthy
in our
diet.
house, so
Oh, really?
How do you know?
never seen
How do you
spiders.
The
No.
confidence.
I've never
Dude,
seen one in our
spiders are
house.
everywhere, dude.
No, I've never seen.
They're everywhere.
If they were everywhere, I would have seen them in my house.
Do you get roaches?
No,
What do you get?
Ants.
You
They're
got-
ants.
you got ants.
We got ants. They got
We
in the
saw
dog
that
food.
the other day.
Ooh, and dog food?
Yeah, they had a trail like from the back door all the way to the dog food and back.
I don't like ants. I like most things, but
But we took care of them.
like I won't kill spiders or crickets or anything, but I'll kill ants. Like
Oh.
with pure, yeah.
I have an irrational. So I was thinking because you mentioned irrational fear. I know we were like 2
Yeah.
minutes left on this, but
Yeah.
an irrational fear that I had was waking up in the middle of the night and seeing out my window somebody smiling at me.
Ooh.
Holy moly, was that an irrational fear growing up? Like, I mean, I slept with like TV on, like 3 night lights,
Sure.
fan on,
That's
just
creepy.
like as much noise as possible. First
So
of all,
on
'cause I don't
Halloween
like-
night, Jacob, we're
Nope.
going to go to Jose's house.
And we're gonna
And
smile.
we're just going to
real
smiling
big.
mask
We're gonna
and
smile
stand
real
outside and
big.
just like tap on his window.
Tap, tap, tap.
You don't even know what window I sleep at.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that window that's there in my room
I mean,
is
we'll just
terrifying.
there's 2 of us, so we can try like like a few of them.
Don't worry, my dog will come and attack you.
Your tiny dog.
Your dog
Yes.
weighs like 2.5 pounds.
I know, but she'll eat you.
That's interesting. Yeah. Gosh, that is really scary. I'm pretty sure I would be terrified of that too.
I don't know why it was just an irrational fear. Like, I don't know why it even came in my mind
A
that I was going to
smiling
see
dude.
like a smiling thing outside my window.
Have you ever had a sleep paralysis demon?
Oh, what?
Not that I remember.
A sleep paralysis demon. Do you know
That's what
what
the whole premise of Insidious is, isn't it?
I like you just assume I've never. If you think of a movie, just assume I've
Well,
never
this
seen
isn't
it.
just a movie thing, but
It's
do you
like
know-
a real life
Do you know
thing,
what
sleep
sleep
paralysis.
paralysis is?
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Sleep paralysis.
Like you're paralyzed when you sleep.
So essentially, it's
Yeah.
when you wake up, but you're halfway stuck in a dream and reality. And it's a real thing that happens to a lot of people.
It does happen to a lot
Where
of
you're
people.
actually stuck, so you can't actually move, but you can't move, but you you can see everything like you just woke up, and you actually see it, but you're still stuck in like a dream world. So like things can actually happen in real life, if that makes sense. So like if you were having a nightmare or something about a dude who's smiling at you, and you wake up and you're in a sleep paralysis mode, you can actually see that dude walk into your room, and like you can actually have there's a lot.
So it's like almost like a augmented reality.
Think of that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like that, but real. And your mind is telling you it's real. And they can actually, so a lot of testimonies say that they can actually have like There could be physical touch as well. Like if he touches you, you actually feel it for real. It's terrifying. And there are some crazy stories of, they call them sleep paralysis demons because a lot of them aren't humans. A lot of them are like legitimately like actual monsters. I've only had one experience. It was really freaking terrifying. Well, I've had been paralyzed out of sleep like a few times, but one time was like an actual like base. I'd call it a demon. It was like a like corrupted demonic form of a family member. It was really scary. And I legitimately thought that I was going to die in a few seconds, but it was just like, it was like an hour of staying in my bed wide awake. It was in daytime. It was daytime outside. And it was just like an hour of me staying in bed, not being able to move. And I couldn't help it. Like I just literally was stuck there. So yeah.
Sometimes you can put yourself in it. You'll feel like pressure and stuff of like
Yeah. You
your body trying to like shut down to go to sleep, but like you're still like.
Typically, like if I get, I used to have a lot of nightmares. I would be, shaken up for a dream. And then like I would be fighting to stay awake. So every time I like kind of drifted back off, I would fall right back into the dream. So it was like me trying to escape from it. But that doesn't really happen a lot anymore. But yeah, back when I used to dream all the time, absolutely. So yeah, thank you for your time today, Jose and Tyler. This was a great, grand old spooky talk for a spooky kind of day. Any parting words before we go?
Next time we got to talk about aliens.
We got to talk about aliens. What about you, Tyler?
No.
Okay. Tyler has offered his wonderful home as a location for this podcast, so hopefully Monday we can take advantage of that. He has a really nice garage with a really nice pool table. And as for me, guys, Caleb will be back next week, and it's going to be grand old time. Thank you guys again for joining me, and I'll see you next week on the Third Wheel Podcast.